looks good. Wandale Robinson's done a really good job. Wyatt Missouri. I mean, they've all done a really good job up to this point.
How much backfield, Wandale, how much are you going to use him in the backfield?
We'll see. I mean, he's definitely going to play running back. I mean, he's really, really talented at running back. So, you know, we'll have, the good thing is we have guys that can do that now. They can be receivers and running backs, and, you know, that's what we've wanted to do when we got here, is to recruit those type of hybrid-type players that Coach Frost had at Oregon, what we had at UCF, and now here at Nebraska.
What's the split like on Wandale as far as receiver running back?
I don't know yet. That's a good question. I think that'll kind of evolve as we go. But he's going to have to be able to know both. So he's a mixed bag with Coach Walters and me. You know, I get him caught up on stuff. You know, during practice, sometimes he'll be with me, or like in individual stuff, teach stuff, and then he's with Coach Walters for the other stuff. But he's got to know both, and we'll see. I mean, he definitely can do both. He's done a really good job up to this point.
What sort of shape did Dedrick Mills report in? What's it look like to you?
Well, I mean, he got here early, which he got those grades, which is big for him. I mean, he's an animal in the weight room. I mean, he's very powerful, and I think he's in pretty good shape. I mean, we all got to continue to get used to the tempo and what we're trying to do as an offense. But I mean, he works hard every single day. He comes with his lunch pail, you know, wanting to get better. I just got to keep fine-tuning him on, you know, all the nuances of this offense. You're not going to get it done in 5 days, but I like where he's at. He hits that thing downhill, which, you know, we have to have in this offense, which I love that aspect, because, I mean, you got to have 2 or 3 guys to tackle that guy.
You kind of touched on it there, but how are the younger guys doing in terms of learning and knowing the playbook right now?
Good. I mean, you know, the expectations are, even though they weren't here, it's their responsibility to be able to learn. What are you doing in your off time? We can't be playing Fortnite and 2K all night. You better be studying this stuff, because if you want to play, you got to know what you're doing. I'm not going to have you out there and not knowing what you're doing and making a fool of all of us. So you better be knowing it. If you want to play, don't dip your toe in it. Go 100 miles an hour, and then we'll fix it to slow you down.
What's that top point or two of emphasis as you're evaluating these guys here these next couple of weeks?
Well, just knowing what they're doing, number one. Number two, are they able to see what's happening up front and be able to make the cuts necessary that can end up being, instead of 4-yard plays, 20, 30-yard plays. You know, Sip saw me before. We were working our individual drill. All right, we don't just run an individual, like run through, jump cut, and then be done. We got to be thinking first level, second level, third level. So every time we're in film, even though we might get thudded off, the defense might have been there, we're not done. We have to work to the next third level. What's your game plan? Okay, well, the formation's over here. I got a safety over here. I make that guy miss. There's nobody else over here. It's a touchdown over here instead of going right there, and then here comes the defensive guys. So that's just knowing the formation and the play and where the defense are at, so we can get 30-yard gains instead of 10, or 50-yard instead of 15.
How has your Divine really kind of grabbed a hold of that position and kind of was the kind of go-to guy there? I mean, how much do you envision that this year's kind of group will look like that, or are you fine kind of doing it by committee?
Well, right now it's by committee till, you know, we get our 2 to 3 guys that we feel comfortable that what we'll do. I mean, we have, you know, we're in a 5-day period here where we're going. This is one of the first 5. I think the last day there's some scrimmage stuff, so that'll be good. We can see how they do it in live bullets, but, you know, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. You know, last year at the beginning part, we had 3 guys that kind of wanted to see what they could do, and then it kind of worked itself out for various reasons. But, you know, in this offense, and as fast as we go, and the physicalness of the Big Ten, you can't just have 1 or 2 guys. You better have 4 or 5 guys ready, and then, you know, see what happens along the way. But you'd like to get a good 2 to 3 man rotation, so we're fresh and we're physical, and then we have our matchup stuff we like to do within the offense.
Hey, what kind of gains did Maurice Washington make as far as weight and strength? Since you didn't have him last year in the summer,
sure.
Did you see a lot of gains from him?
I mean, you know, it's kind of up and down with him with gains. You know, he's a guy that his metabolism is really fast. So, you know, he'll gain some, lose some, gain some, lose some. But, you know, he's done a good job, has a good attitude, and you know, there's a lot of things he needs to continue to work on, just like everybody else. And so I'm doing everything I can to just keep learning the offense and where those cuts might be and everything, knowing before the hand what's the call, and then what we're blocking, and then where we got to end up.
You alluded to this, but can you expand on what kind of practice player Dedrick is? I mean, what do you see from him in practice?
He's a sweater. I mean, he is going to work hard and sweat. We got to have a towel with him at all times because he works his rear off. I mean, he comes to work every day. I saw it when I watched him in junior college practice. I've seen it in the weight room when I've walked through there, and then, you know, out on the field. I don't have to worry about him working hard in practice. That's the least of my worries. With him being new, I got to get him on all the other stuff to make sure he knows what he's doing. But I like the early returns.
What are you seeing from Maurice as far as his mentality, his ability to be focused on what he needs to be right now?
Yeah, I mean, he's been dialed in meetings, been dialed in to where he's supposed to be. He's dialed in on the practice field. You know, the other stuff's the other stuff. He just has to worry about what he can control right now, and that's being out on the field and helping his teammates, being a good teammate, and then getting better himself.
What is the biggest challenge for a guy like Ramir Johnson?
Not dipping his toe in and just trying to go out there and not make a mistake. I don't care if he makes a mistake. I want him to go 100 miles an hour because his gift is speed and feet. He has the ability to really run, and he's soft on his feet. He can jump cut and then go. And, you know, early on, like, he kind of was going just kind of tiptoeing through, not making sure I'm not making a mistake. Then 2 days ago, he freaking hit it, and it was 60 yards. That's what I want him to do, is not worry about making a mistake. No fear of failure, like Coach Frost says, and use your strengths out there on the field, which is speed and quickness and all those things. But he's a great kid. I love being around him every day. Smile on his face, tough. You know, East Coast kid. I mean, he's got a chance.
Because of Diedrich's size, he's going to get compared to Divine. Is that a similar picture, or how do they compare?
No, I don't. I mean, you know, the size is the same, but I think Diedrich and nothing. You know, Divine did an unbelievable job. Diedrich is a hammer. You know, Divine had a little more probably finesse, but when we go our power stuff and it's downhill, the pile's going that way when he hits it downhill. He's probably one of the best backs I've had in year 4 at the places of hitting it downhill.
Okay.
And so, you know, that obviously at Georgia Tech when he was there, he was a little fullback guy, and then at junior college, he ran it a gazillion times, power in every play, and now he's got to do a lot more here than he did, you know, at the other places. But, you know, we'll see. Again, with Diedrich, with Ramir, with Wandell, I'm not gonna make this big deal that these guys are Heisman candidates or they're gonna have their picture on the wall. They got a lot of work to do to get there, but I do like the fact that of where they're at, you know, as football players. And I got to just grind. You know, we got to grind every day to get them better.
Year over year, how much have you upgraded the speed on this football team, just from your eye, especially on the offense?
It's not even close. Not even close. You know, the physicality. I mean, Jiminy Christmas, just the aesthetics of looking at each one of our guys when they run out on the field. We're looking like a football team, all right? Looking like, I mean, with the strength staff and everything. I know you guys hear it all the time, but that's real. That's legitimately real. Now, we have to go out and execute and do all those things. Can't turn the ball over, and special teams has to get better. But I can tell you that from a, you know, on the hoof, we say in our world, we look a heck of a lot better, which is encouraging.
Did you expect it to be this quick? I mean, you guys haven't started here too yet.
This is Nebraska. We expect our guys to come in here. We expect to recruit at a high level. We expect to develop our guys at a high level. We have all the resources here to be successful. Everybody's bought in. You know, we've had, 2 cycles of summers now. And, you know, we expect for us to make huge gains. I mean, we had, you know, there was guys here. All they needed was to do it a different way, and they bought into that, and we like the returns right now. But again, it's still early. We're not even close to being ready, but we will be ready once game week starts.
What do you tell a guy like Ronald now? I know he's not in the picture out there at camp, but just as he gets his body right and everything.
Well, I'm liking the returns I'm hearing from the medical staff on him. Trust me, when he is cleared, I'm throwing him in the mix. I'm not going to do too much with him, but I'm going to give him a chance to go out and play because he's as talented as anybody. And if he wouldn't have got hurt, he would have had everybody in America recruiting him. And so I'm glad he's here. He's had a good attitude. You can see him, you know, the weight he's put on, and I'm getting good returns. So I'm gonna put him in. I'm not gonna throw him in the deep end, but I'm gonna definitely build him up to see what he can do to have a chance potentially to play this fall. We'll see.
Do you have a time frame in mind for him?
Not really. I mean, we just got to be smart. You know, the pitch count's got to be smart once he gets there. You know, he's not going to get 50 reps. I just have to build him up because, again, he's not out there at practice, so he doesn't get the mental piece of it that we get in meetings and everything. But he had a good summer getting with the other guys. The seniors did a good job of introducing him to stuff. We've given him the playbook. But I'm telling you, I really like the opportunity he will have in the room.
Once you get this thing sense that guys know what's out there this season, like what opportunities are out there as far as what this team can do?
Well, I mean, it's endless what we can do. You know, I mean, I know we're picked this and picked that. Like Coach said, we got to go earn it. We haven't earned anything yet, other than the fact we finished strong. So what we have to do is pick up where we left off. We can't go back to the first part of the year, penalties, turnovers, all that kind of stuff. You know, we got to come out and pick up where we left off and make huge gains on that when South Alabama comes in here at 11 o'clock. We got to be ready to go. It'll be hot. It'll be, you know, sold-out crowd, ready to rock and roll. We got to go out there and be ready to play fast and do what we do.
As a coach, how do you feel generally when you feel like you've got all these high-ceiling guys, but they just haven't done it in a Nebraska uniform? When you kind of compare it, even with last year, how are you feeling? You sleep easy with the group you got right now, or do you worry because you haven't seen them do it here yet? Or?
Well, I'm never going to sleep easy till we get that championship. And even when we get the championship, I'm not even going to sleep easy because I'm going to be hungry and I want more. So what I do is I go to bed after I tuck Jacob to bed and read him a book and do all that. Is I'm ready to rock and roll, go to bed, hang with my wife, and then wake up, and I'm determined to what can I do to hold my part of this thing, is to try to get turned around and get the running backs right to where we can be a strength on the field. There's a lot of questions out there. You know, we lost a lot of guys. We got a lot of new guys. So that's motivation for us. All right, people out there, well, you're not going to be very good at running back, or we don't know. Okay, great. Now we got to go out and prove it. All right, we can talk about it all day. We got to go out and earn it. We got to earn it on the practice field. We got to earn it in the meeting room, taking care of our bodies, and then when we get our chance, it's time to rock and roll.
Did you see your cameo on Last Chance U?
Yeah, I did. You know, it is what it is. I wasn't trying to make my Hollywood debut or anything, but you know, I mean, it's recruiting, and you know that was during the season, and you know, whatever we got to do. I actually had a high school coach say, you know, you're on Last Chance U. I had no idea because I didn't watch the show.